thank you for joining me. Moved indoors today for the first time for quite some while. I was setting up to record outside and the heavens opened, but we needed the rain. And of course, as soon as I get sorted inside, it stopped. But I'm not going to go out again because you know what will happen. So I want to talk a little bit today about two things: stories and bees. Both are important to me. As somebody who was born and bred in Manchester, I have the bee as an emblem, and I am proud to wear my little bee necklace, and a friend bought me this cushion. Be bold, be brave, be you. I use that as a reminder. And I like to use stories. I always use stories in school. I remember when I first started work in Cheshire, having only recently qualified, I got a short time placement in a school. It was about 5-6 weeks. And it was a very open school, open plan, open ethos, open everything. A primary school at which the children didn't attend for register, they signed in. Well, that made me a bit wary to start with. And they didn't finish their day with the story. That was too formal. The children could move to any classroom they liked. And I started my first day of my first week, I started the finish of the day. That's a contradiction in terms, isn't it? I rounded up my day and the day of the children with a story. And by about day 3, we had about half the school coming to join us. There were children on the floor, on the chairs, standing up. So I think that tells you a lot about stories and a lot about the fact that they weren't given them. They didn't have them shared with them. But when I went on to do my counselling and hypnotherapy, we use story in hypnosis because it gets a message across more easily than saying you. It takes it away from that person. But especially in hypnosis, their subconscious mind takes on board the message that is being given. So I still use story, and I like stories. I love reading. I love listening to stories. And as a little child, we would curl up late afternoon. Sorry, I'm just trying to kick my tablet back into mode. It had gone to sleep. Mum and myself, there was a program called Listen with Mother. Okay, sounds very sexist, but that was the way it was way back in 1950. So accept that. It was what it was. I'm not woke. I'm not going to change it and say listen with a parent, listen with whatever. It was listen with mother. And they always started with, are you sitting comfortably? Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Then I'll begin. And the story that I'm going to tell you today, I read on a Facebook page called Orky, and it has some lovely little tales and pictures. They're lifting, they're heartwarming. So this one was posted a couple of days ago, and I thought, right, I'm going to use that. I can't give credit because I don't know who wrote it. And the lady who posted it on the page says that she didn't write it, but she loves it. So, if you're sitting comfortably, then I am going to begin. My dad has bees. Today I went to his house and he showed me all of the honey he'd got from the hives. He took the lid off a 5-gallon bucket full of honey, and on top of the honey there were 3 little bees struggling. They were covered in sticky honey and drowning. I asked him if we could help them, and he said he was sure they wouldn't survive. Casualties of honey collection, I suppose. I asked him again if we could at least get them out and kill them quickly. After all, he was the one who taught me to put a suffering animal or bug out of its misery. He finally conceded and scooped the bees out of the bucket. We put them in an empty yogurt container and put the plastic container outside. Because he had disrupted the hive with the earlier honey collection, there were bees flying all over outside. We put the 3 little bees in the container on a bench and left them to their fate. My dad called me out a little while later to show me what was happening. These 3 little bees were surrounded by all of their sisters. All of the bees are female. And they were cleaning the sticky, nearly dead bees, helping them to get out of the honey and get it off their bodies. We came back a short time later, and there was only 1 little bee left in the container. She was still being tended to by her sisters. When it was time for me to leave, we checked one last time. And all 3 of the bees had been cleaned off enough to fly away, and the container was empty. Those 3 little bees lived because they were surrounded by family and friends who would not give up on them. Family and friends who refused to let them drown in their own stickiness and resolved to help until the last little bee could be set free. Be sisters, be peers, be teammates. We could all learn a thing or 2 from these bees. Be kind always. Food for thought. Thank you for listening. Do tick, subscribe, do whatever you can. And I will speak to you again tomorrow. Bye.